Hello, today I'll be covering order of operations. To start off though, we are going to cover some simple things that people are common mistakes. So to start off, let's do exponents. 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 squared is also 9. But since the negative is not in parentheses, this says negative, pause, 3 squared. So 3 squared is 9, but I need the negative of that, so negative 9. So the rule you have to remember from the exponents is if the negative sign is in parentheses, you raise it to the exponent. If it is not, you leave it at the end and change your answer to the opposite. Now with parentheses, negative, negative 9. The opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. But with absolute value, you have to evaluate the absolute value first. So for this, the absolute value of negative 9 is 9. Then we take care of the negative sign. So this one is negative 9. The difference is parentheses, absolute values. A lot of people want to say that two negatives next to each other make a positive. That's only true if it's separated by a parenthesis, not an absolute value bar. Now we're just going to move on to some examples. Remember, with order of operations, we have PEMDAS, parentheses or grouping symbols like absolute values, division bars, and stuff like that. Exponents. Then you have multiplication and division, where you go from left to right, where you don't do, like if division is on the left and multiplication is on the right, you do division first. These just mean you do them in the same step before addition and subtraction. Then addition and subtraction, same thing with multiplication and division, go from left to right. So simplify the following. Well, if we notice, the negative is not in parentheses, so that's going to be on the outside. Well, 2 to the 4th, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then we can't forget about this 2 right there. So to do this, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And then since there's only one negative, it's negative 32. 2's are easy just to count off instead of showing every single step. Now with B, we have negative 12 plus 6 divided by 3. According to operations, we can't do the addition until we do division. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now we can do the addition. Negative 12 plus 2. They have opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 12 minus 2 is 10. The negative 12 is the larger value. Because it's negative, my answer will be negative. Now on part C, we have to do grouping symbols first, or parentheses. Well, these absolute values are grouping symbols. So the first thing I have to do is what's inside them, negative 4 plus 2. They have opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them. Get an answer of 2. Then since the 4 was bigger and negative, my answer will be negative. I'm still not done with the absolute value sign, though, because I still have to take the absolute value of what I found. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Now that grouping symbols are all the way we go on to exponents. 2 squared is 4, so 2 times 4. Then all we have left is multiplication. 2 times 4 is 8. Now on to D. First thing we have to do are the parentheses. So 3 times 2 is 6. Then, parentheses are done. There aren't any exponents, so multiplication and division. Well, negative 2 times 6. Well, since they have opposite signs, my answer is going to be negative, and 2 times 6 is 12. Now 12 minus 12 is 0. On to E. We have to do parentheses first. So 8 minus 3 is 5. Everything else I just rewrite. Now, parentheses are done. No exponents, multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. Multiplication and division is done. Now I'm on to the addition and subtraction step. Remember with addition and subtraction I said I get rid of all the double signs. Well, here's a double sign right here, a positive and a negative, which is just negative 4. Now I just work left to right. 15 minus 4 is 11. 11 minus 10 is 1. Now for these problems, I do recommend showing all your steps and rewriting everything. Don't just write your answer down and then go back up here, write that answer down, then go back up here, write that. Write out every step. It does get tedious, but you are less likely to make a mistake that way. Now F. Now, even though there is division and we should do division before addition, you have to remember that a fraction bar kind of acts like parentheses. And you have to do the numerator and denominator separately first before you do the division. So the first step in this one is the negative 12 plus 48. They have opposite signs, so I have to subtract them. 48 minus 12. 8 minus 2 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. So that's 36. And the larger value is 48, which was positive. So our answer is positive 36. Now there's nothing more to do in the numerator, nothing more to do in the denominator. I divide them. 36 divided by 4 is 9. And since they have opposite signs, the answer is negative 9. Example 2. Evaluate negative x squared if x is negative 5. Now this you have to be careful of where you place your parentheses when you substitute negative 5 in for x. Because the only spot that gets parentheses is where that x was. The negative doesn't go on there and the squared doesn't go in there. Only the negative 5 does. Now, because this negative is on the outside, I'm going to worry about it last. So what is negative? This negative 5 squared. Well, that's 25. Then this negative comes down, so our final answer is negative 25. And there's order of operations with integers.